So I just wanted to, I made a big old tutorial. It's like, well, a tutorial and then a recording of me making this. But I thought I'm going to try to just make something that's faster. Instead of going through the whole thing, just show you little things that I did. We'll see how fast I can do this. I'll show you the track first. This is a track. It's not really finished. There's a lot of things I could change, but this track, now it doesn't have a verse chorus. I made a 16 bar progression here, and then I just kept building and building that bigger and bigger. This is kind of what I'm used to from trailer music, because there's not so much of a verse chorus. I'm going to try and use these same chords I took to make a verse chorus afterwards, and maybe a few different versions just using the same chords. I do want to show you the main thing that I tried to mention in one of the other videos was just recording a guitar track. So this is kind of a little crummy, strummy thing. And actually, this is on follow chords right now. So I'm going to turn that off. This is actually the original. All I was doing was just trying to come up with a progression. Just nothing fancy. And then, I think, I don't know if it went on. Anyway, then what I did is I dragged it up into this chord track, not the arranger track, the chord track. And it gave me, it actually gave me this D, F, A, and D. And I went and I decided to change it to the key of E minor, since that's all white keys. So I don't know if you know music theory too well. That would be a little easier for you. It's always easier for me to think of how things relate to the A minor key, because it's just the white A to the, it's all white keys, the A to A. And so yeah, I pulled those up in here, and then I changed them, and then I just set things to follow the chords. The really cool thing that I was able to do that I want to show you is, once I got my progression, I was able to you're able to just take these and you can just drag them down into any MIDI track, and it will put the chords right in there for you. And you can rearrange that how you want. I'm just going to mute that. But that's just one way of, it might be easier to come up with progressions by strumming and then, pull them into the chord track to see what chords you made, and then pull it down, into the track. You can also just, click on this and just make your whatever chord you want, without even strumming anything. Just pick what you want here, and then you can change them, And even with the guitar, like I showed you once before, as long as the guitar is on, follow, then it'll follow your changes. Like you should be able to see on this. If I put this back to follow, and I wouldn't use that, in the song, because obviously it kind of makes it sound a little weird, but it works for just listening and figuring out if I like a different progression. Oh, it was a different tempo. I changed the tempo. I was going to say, it doesn't sound as weird with, other stuff going on. Anyway, I've already gone on a long time. I was hoping to make this faster, but I'm not using this anyway, so I'm just going to mute it again. And the main thing, you can make a progression and then play around with it. And, I had it repeating the same thing, and then I just you double click on these, and then you can kind of change things up, maybe for the second half, or you can have a verse and then change them up for a chorus and listen to how it sounds. If you are writing in the key of A, it's pretty simple. Whatever chord you want to pick, just make sure it's got only white keys. If there's any, to figure out if it's major or minor. If you hit D and there's a sharp or flat and you're just trying to stick to the key of A, just change it to whichever one doesn't have any sharps or flats for the major or minor. I can explain that more later. So, okay. I'm going to go ahead and play the song I have here, just so you can hear what I've done. I could probably add a long thing here, and then pick it up even crazier at the end here after these little pads here. So, cool. All right, let's see how fast I can show you some of the things I really wanted to show you. One of the main things I wanted to show you is you can just take your voice. Let's see, this is where I started. This is how I made the bass line. It's like definitely nothing special. But if you have an idea in your head that you can't quite get out, it can help, you know what you're trying to do. And if you do this, then what you do, you've got your audio and you right click and you go to audio and you go to edit with Melodyne. I've already done that. So it shows these notes here you can see, and you can just move it then into a MIDI track, and you can see it's actually a bunch of little notes like what I was doing, and then you can play it back with if you're trying to, you can play your MIDI track at the same time of what you were kind of doing. So then you can go and you'll have to fix some of the notes, but it's a really cool way to come up with something that, see, that's what this turned into. And I decided to set this to follow the chords. I think, yeah, bass, definitely would do that with bass. So I basically just, this one little part is all I decided to repeat. And then I just copied it over, so I didn't even use all this stuff. And I just copied it over, put on change chords, so now each time it changes the chord, you can watch. See, it just automatically changes. And I think for the intro, I actually copied this where it doesn't do that. Oh, and I took out some notes. So that's just repeating, even though it's over those piano notes. Because this was in A, most of these notes, most of this hits the A note, which is actually the tonic. So usually that'll actually sound good over chords as long as the chords are in that key. You might have to change, you know, some of it here and there. If you watch some of those videos I linked you, I can't remember the guy's name, Studio something. He kind of shows that. So anyway, that's me just making some noise with my mouth, turned it into a bass note. Part of why I'm showing you this is since you don't have a keyboard yet. And then this one, what's even crazier, this I turned into a, I wonder if you can see it. I don't know if you can I don't think it'll show me if I zoom in, will it? Oh, what the heck is, oh. Yeah, so again, when you edit with Melodyne, it will break them up. Let me see here. Let me pull this into something. Let's pull it up here. Because I did this, but I'm not entirely sure if this version is the right. Ah, yeah. You can just, it was just hard to tell because everything was bleeding together. So they're not just one line. So see, it captured all these things. And then, you know, what I did is I just quantized them. And I ended up making, I don't know what this is going to, yeah, this is a synth. So, but this is for drums is what I'm trying to show you. You can just do and then if you edit it with Melodyne, it even recognized that this was just percussion instead of making it melodic Melodyne. So it just had a static note. Well, actually, I think it did show some shifting, but it doesn't matter. The point is, you just get the notes in there, the little MIDI blocks basically, and then you can make it into a drum. And that's what I had made into this thing up here. This is actually some deleted, so it doesn't really get into it until oops, I think that's a little off. And then, you know, I just went in and edited it so that it you know, it went with the other parts. And that's part of what I did. I had this beat, so then that's when I did that with my mouth. I just did that, you know, over that beat, and I think the chords, so that I could try and get an idea for what would actually work well with everything. Oh, it was supposed to be a little off, I see. I might change, you know, I feel like it could change a little bit, but I just want to get that point across. I kind of wish I had a blank spot so I could show you an example. Maybe I can pull it up into this. I could probably just copy it and just go here and paste it. Oops. I'm hitting the wrong buttons. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, and you see it even knew that, well, it's because I got a drum track, so it'll usually pull up the drum thing. And I just put them, you know, right there. Now they're still a little off. Let's see. I think I have a, oh, it's probably just not. You gotta decide where you want to actually have them. You know. And you know, quantize those babies. And you can thin things out, oops, by quantizing to a shorter thing, although it can make double notes, but I do it a lot anyway. You know, if I go to half, see, it'll cut those down. And let me see if it, yeah, there's double notes, but I think there's a way to just delete all those fast. Well, that's what I try to do is, you know, have the beginning of the song, you know, start out with a little bit less. less drums, and it slowly gets more and more drums. And then I added this little drop. These are all, except for maybe the cymbals. Some, you know, there's a lot of free effects I got. 3 sounds I've got, like that drop is a free sound. And then this is where I added, you know, and I just used this, I decided to use a pattern editor for this, since it's so, it's pretty, like if I'm just gonna have one simple thing, you know, I wanted to get a really beefy, you know, layer of snares on there, so that's what I did with that. And what is this? Same kind of thing. This has my kick. So this is a kick and a snare layered with that other one. There's like a clap in there, so it'd be really big. And see this, so this bass that I had made, you know, that I showed you starting with just my mouth. Then I layered it. I added then another synth part. So that helps the song build a little bit. And some of it was just playing around. The synth is the one I've recommended downloading. It's vital. This is the free version. This is one of the sounds that came in it. There's a whole, you know, a pretty good set of sounds. The bass sounds are my favorite, but there's some good stuff in there. And you know, if you learn how to create your own sounds, this is a great synth. I would recommend getting it since it's free. It was pretty easy for me to just download and install. I'm trying to make stuff that you can do with things that either are free or you already have with Studio One. I've done that with these pianos. Actually, I think is this a Studio One piano? Yeah, this is just a Studio One piano. There's some better pianos I want to show you at some point. This one I did add a room reverb, you know, put neutron grand piano setting, and I just put this on, I think, because in the intro, this is the thing you can do is you can take this high pass, or I'm sorry, low pass, and then, or high cut, same thing, and make it slowly go up. You probably don't want to mess with automating things too much right now. The way to do that, though, is if you right click on a knob, then it'll give you the option to automate it, and then it will show you this, and you can draw the line however you want to move that thing around. That's a little thing. You might experiment with that if you think it'll be fun, but you might just want to get to writing and keep with more simple stuff. And then one other thing with that vocal, I think it comes in. Where does it come in? Oh, wait. I think it's right here. Yeah. That was almost an accident. It's a little bit different than this. It's like the same notes, I think. Da-da-da-da versus do-do-do. Oh, and that's interesting because he actually, it picks up on, you know, after do-do-do, you hear like this come in. Oops, not that one, the other one. That white, so it sounds like do-do-do white. Do-do-do white. Do-do-do. But the way this was made was I was actually trying to make a lead. I was just kind of humming some crappy stuff. Oh God. I was doing it really quiet because, yeah, same thing. Right. I think this was it. Right. I was just making some noises. And what happened was I right-clicked, edit with Melodyne. I don't know if I added or what, but you know, I threw it into this lead, but it was longer. You know, I was trying to get a whole melody out of it, but I only really liked this introduction part. But it ended up just like that. Just sounded super cool, so I just kept it. You have a lot of fun accidents like that, you know, if you work with this stuff and just try doing stuff with your voice and then turning it into MIDI. Because what I did, you know, then was I had it set to follow chords on this so that, again, you know, whatever this thing does, you know, if it's off some of the notes, off key, this will just adjust it to the chords so that it fits. What was I going to say? So I think the main things I wanted to show you. I did, the lead that I did end up using, I can't remember if I made this with my voice or not. Because I did some with the keyboard and some not. I was gonna, how long has this been? Oh, geez. I don't know. I don't think it's been too long. I was thinking of giving you ideas about melodies. There's a lot of different ways to make them. Let me see if this follows it. It's actually hard to hear what it's doing without, like... This doesn't actually follow the formula I wanted to show you, which is you present your melody idea, then you repeat it, and then you make a variation of it, and then you just completely break it down and return to the, you know, your home key. In most melodies, you'll find that there is some similarity to that. That's just an easy way to write good melodies. Is the beginning of the melody will kind of probably have some kind of repetition, but as it goes towards the end, the last part of the melody will kind of make, you know, some crazier variations before it returns back to the same note it started on, or to the tonic of the chord at least, or the tonic of the key, I mean. So like in this case to A minor, whether it's a higher A minor or the same one or lower or whatever. I would try though, again with, you know, if you get 8 bars, or even just 4, stretch a melody, you know, for a chorus or verse or something. More for a chorus, I guess, maybe. Try and see if you can stretch a melody out, you know, so it fills a long section. With a verse chorus type song, like if I were doing that instead of just copying this whole 16 bars over and over, which like the music you're making might be better to do verse chorus, then I probably would have changed these up a bit, you know, a bit more, so that you have like one set that repeats, and then, you know, this one, you know, you could change where it starts on like C or the 5th, you know, which would be a E minor or just, you know, some other pattern. I'd have to talk more about chord progressions. You might need to learn about a little bit, but if you have a change up of a progression, and just try something else that sounds good to your ears, that's in that same key, you know. So you play the verse a few times and then do the chorus a few times. I think you might have done that a little bit already, I think, actually in your other song. So yeah, I would just keep that up and use this, try and use this chord track thing, and then the arranger track, you know, in here again, you know, you can use that then to label, because the main thing with that, like I showed you before, you know, then you can duplicate, just hit D, it'll move everything over. You know, so if I create a verse and I want to copy it, or it's being really slow to undo that. That's interesting. Anyway, you can also, if you hold Alt, just like on any clips, you know, any events or anything, hold Alt and drag, keep holding Alt, and it'll just copy it over here. So, you know, if you get a chorus and a couple verses and you want to stretch your chorus over at the end of those verses so it plays again, you just do that. This is interesting. It's not actually undoing my move. That's weird. Anyway, that's pretty much what I wanted to show you, I think, with this. I do think I'm going to try to put this on the PreSonus Sphere. I kind of wanted to show you some of the Studio One 6 things, but maybe I'll make another video for that. They do have this lyrics thing, so there's a way to get lyrics. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Blah, blah, blah. To show up there. And then there's some way to view them. If I edit. That's interesting. Okay. Oh, it must just be because it's... Yeah, and see, then you can actually click your lyrics and it'll jump around to the different sections where the lyrics are. I want to try this. I think it would be cool, you know, and it'll you know, show you here, and I think it'll, let's see if it moves. Yeah, it'll move, you know, so it could potentially help you, you know, read the lyrics while you're trying to sing, so you don't have to struggle to remember them. I was going to say something else about lyrics. Oh, you might, I don't know if you've tried this, but, and it might, you know, be a little hard if you're trying to get just a raw idea, you know, feeling out. But at least for some practice, you know, try some songs where you just start with a chord progression. I mean, you can make a song any way you want, but if you start with a progression and maybe get some things that are exciting, some exciting beats and stuff, then this is what I guess the guys from Tool do. I didn't know. I think I need to try this because I struggle with lyrics quite a bit. But like he'll just play it, and I think he'll just like make up words, you know, so he gets a feel for how he wants the vocal line to feel, and then kind of let the feeling of the song dictate the lyrics that come, you know, what words flow out of that melody and stuff. So you might try that. I was going to say something else along those lines. But also, you know, if you're trying to capture a, you know, a feeling, you might look into, you know, more videos and stuff about just motifs. If you just capture some little melody, some, you know, maybe you could sing some little part. It could be like a few notes, some kind of little hook thing, and then you can build on that. And you can just, you know, if you're feeling a certain way, you know, you can just record a bunch of different ones of those. You know, just hit the record button, maybe set a beat, and then just drag it out. You know, just record for like 20 minutes and then go back and listen and cut out the pieces you like. Save them in the browser, you know, under your files. Just make a folder and, you know, just cut, just, you know, use their arrange tool, draw a box around your pieces. If you just click and drag it down, or you can just cut out the edges, whatever. Make a little box. You can right click and it'll, you know, it'll let you label it, and you just pull it into your folders there. You don't even have to do it like that. I also did a lot of this in the scratch pad, so I could try different things. Again, if you just, you know, take whatever, like I started with just, you know, one of these, and I just copied a new scratch pad, And so I had a few different scratch pads here. If it'll pull up, I think something's wrong with my system right now. I probably need to reboot. Oh, I'm just being an idiot. Yeah, you gotta actually click the scratch pad thing. So, yeah, like this is me way back, you know, messing with the chords. More playing with the chords here. Then getting something more solid that I could just pull into the thing. This is where I wrote. See, I actually wrote most of it in here, and then I just pulled it into that. The scratch pad is a great way to just try new things without worrying that you're going to screw up your whole track. You know, it kind of can make you feel a little more free. It's a really good. What I use it for mostly a lot is to actually do what I was talking about before. You know, if you get like a progression, you can just duplicate. You know, just get a whole long thing, and then, you know, put your mic on or your guitar or whatever, hit record, and just record a bunch of stuff you feel for like 20 minutes, and then go back and cut out the parts you like. And then you can just close all that clutter and go back to your nice clean thing. And I am going to try and share this. I think there's a, you know, if you do end up downloading Studio 1.6, I'll have to look into this, but I think there's an easier way to share things. Because then, you know, if you want, you can, I mean, you don't have to, but you could pull this up on your own computer and just kind of look at the things. I probably won't share all my weird vocal stuff, but okay. I hope that helped. I tried to summarize some things that, you know, I took like 2 hours to go through before. So I'll leave it at that. Good luck. I look forward to hearing more of your songs. They are getting better.